Expired food a major concern for consumer affairs. The Commissioner of Police commending officers on the front line. And residents weighing in on the Miss Bahamas universe reveal.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shishina Wolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news this Friday evening, members of the Price Control Commission visiting various food stores on Grand Bahama. While price gouging continues to be a concern for the commission, members say during this recent inspection, another concern has emerged. Jimmy Lemizik explains.
Price gouging a major concern for the Department of Consumer Affairs. Price inspectors making rounds to several supermarkets on the island conducting routine price checks. Price Control Chairman Danny Sumner says inspectors are actively monitoring and enforcing the laws. He says in particular, bread basket items and gas prices, especially during the hurricane season.
We will look at every stall as it relates to pricing. Price gouging is a major problem. It has been a major problem for years. Price hoarding has been a major problem for years. And we want the consumers to know that this commission will not stand by and allow them to be taken advantage of.
Now, during their inspections, Sumner says they did not find any major problems and are hoping that this continues. He says ultimately their goal is to minimize the number of consumer complaints.
We are concerned basically with the bread basket items. Let me just emphasize that. The price inspectors will be concerned mostly with the bread basket items. But it doesn't mean that even though an item may not be bread basket, it does not give the shop owners the right to inflate any article, okay? Batteries we can look at, hurricane supply stuff. During the hurricane season, we will be looking at such as plywoods, okay? The inspectors have an index and they know exactly what the price should be.
Now, in terms of the number of consumer complaints, Chief Price Inspector Reno Smith says most of them are regarding expired products.
We are advising Bahamians to be educated consumers. Avoid buying these specials. Check the dates, and your health is more important because you might, at the end of the day, think you're saving $1 or $2. But when you have to pay medical bills for eating expired products or something like that, it could be a more higher price to pay.
Jimmy Lemizik, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Commissioner of Police releasing the preliminary crime statistics for the first half of the year, with the figures revealing that crime across the country is continuing to trend downwards. He took the opportunity to commend officers for their commitment to the fight against crime. Italia Hall reports.
The Commissioner of Police, Anthony Ferguson, says, given the dynamics and complexity of crime, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is being more intentional in their fight against crime, adding that from 2017, crime has been trending down, and so far for the year, that trend is continuing.
Preliminary figures for 2019, the half-year mark, indicate that crime across the entire Bahamas increased by 17% when compared to 2018. Violent crimes decreased by 14%, while property crimes decreased by 18%. Crime in New Providence decreased by 16%, and in Grand Bahama decreased by 6%. Family Island shows a decrease of 29%.
The commissioner says the number of armed robberies across the country decreased by some 18%, and as it relates to homicides,
in the case of murder, the overall incidents decreased by 17%. 45 incidents for the period to 54 incidents in 2018.
The commissioner says he is concerned about the amount of guns that are on the streets in the northern Bahamas. According to statistics, more than 80% of murders that take place in the country are committed with the use of firearms, which is a serious concern for the police department. So far, 184 weapons were taken off the streets, with a little over 2,000 rounds of ammunition. Bimini also recorded 2 murders for the year, which still remains unsolved. Ferguson says he has asked the Bimini police chief to step up their efforts.
So you will see more operations in Bimini. We landed in Bimini a couple of weeks ago with a huge team.
He also sent a stern warning to those who harbor criminals.
Criminals will be met with stiff lawful resistance. There is also a grave concern where persons arriving on crime scene or accident scenes are video recording them and circulating these videos across social media with harsh or insensitive comments. This is wrong and indecent because family members are seeing these images of their loved ones sometime for the first time and do not even know that they were injured or killed.
But despite the downward trend, Ferguson says there's still a fear of crime among citizens.
So the police are working assiduously to reduce this fear by increasing our visibility in the communities and through intelligence-led operations.
He also revealed that there are persons committing crimes who run to other countries, but adds that they will not continue to evade the law as technology plays a significant role in their policing strategies. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The American woman who drowned in waters off Green Turtle Key this week has been identified as 72-year-old Molly Green of South Carolina. According to reports, Green is a well-known humanitarian in South Carolina who co-founded Water Mission, a nonprofit group dedicated to supplying clean water to developing countries and disaster areas. Reports say Green also operated a nonprofit lab in Charleston with a goal of providing clean water to 100 million people within a decade. Green and her two grandsons were on vacation in Green Turtle Key. Police say they were swimming in the area of Gillum Bay where they were caught up in a rip current. Persons in the area pulled the three from the water, but they were unable to resuscitate her. Switching gears now, the local straw craft industry moving up another notch as participants in the annual training program are applauded for the level of creativity displayed this time around. Jamila Mizik reports.
Bahamas National Craft Association has partnered with its Grand Bahama arm to successfully close out its annual craft program. Held under the theme, Allow Your Mistakes to Make You More Creative, the two-week initiative gave eager participants the chance to showcase their innate straw-making abilities. President of the Bahamas National Craft Association, Lily Strawn Moxie, says that the program, which is usually held in the month of July, has soared to a new level. She adds that she was pleased to see the participants excel in creativity using native straw.
Those persons who have participated, some of them had never sat behind an industrial machine, but today they're so comfortable using it and they're so anxious to go to the next advanced class. As you can see, not only do we make straw handbags in all of its elegance and uniqueness, but we've also done slippers. We've also created overnight bags, totes, the roller bags, as well as backpack.
Participant Kalia Piles shares her hopes for next year. She says the experience was new for her, but also very rewarding.
I hope to see lots of more bag working because it was fun, and hopefully we have more machines next year so we can have a ton of work done, but I really enjoyed it.
Local artisan and Bahamian fashion designer in the straw craft industry, Keisha Pratt, traveled from New Providence to instruct the classes. She says that her desire is to see more young persons delve into what she describes as a prosperous industry.
Well, for me as a young fashion designer and also a young artisan in the straw industry, I'd like to see more young people actually exploring the art. This is becoming almost like a dying art in our country, but it is one of the most prosperous. This is the most talented area that any Bahamian can actually get into, that exploits, that imports, that actually brings out everything in our Bahamian culture.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Switching gears now, the Miss Bahamas Universe pageant facing much criticism since the reveal of its contestants this past Tuesday. Many taking to social media questioning if the contestants are indeed able to compete on an international stage. Our ZNS News team took to the streets where residents on Grand Bahama weighed in. The Miss Bahamas Universe big reveal of the 2019 candidates was met with much criticism from social media users on Tuesday. From name calling to the creation of memes to even some asking if these women are indeed Bahamians. We caught up with residents from Grand Bahama, many of whom believe that these ladies are in fact beautiful and should be commended for putting themselves on the national and soon-to-be international stage, while others are of a different view.
They look presentable.
They look presentable?
Yeah.
So you think social media overreacted?
Very much so.
Everyone is makeup. It's done very well. Nothing is wrong with them. I mean, they're beautiful.
I don't think it was well put together. Could have had more makeup, could have fixed their hair better.
They could perhaps use a little bit more finessing.
The video and the posts made, but I must say, some of them need some work, yes.
You don't need to insult them and send out memes on social media because this is someone's daughter.
Oswald Ellis has over 35 years experience in pageantry. He shares why he believes that the Miss Bahamas Universe Committee should be held responsible. He says after viewing many of the girls' social media profiles, he is of the view that the video production, among other elements, were poorly done.
It's a sticky situation because, you're dealing with people's emotions. And I do pageants occasionally because it's been hard to find girls that look like what the international people expect. So I prefer not to have a show if the girls are not to that level.
Kaylisa Banaby, pageant trainer for nearly 30 years, agrees. Taking to Facebook, she posted, "I cry shame on the Miss Bahamas Universe Pageant Committee. To see how y'all threw these girls out here in poor taste to be eaten alive by the public is painful for these young women to bear. As professionals, you should have looked at the video, critique it, and see which girl fell below the line and make sure she gets it right to make the cut." Former beauty queen Letitia Lord represented the Bahamas back in 1998. She also released a statement, and she says she too faults the committee for a poor production. The statement reads that the committee is not only to blame, but must do more to attract women who have the look and intelligence to compete on the international stage. She says many women are no longer knocking down the pageant doors because there is no longer any real benefit to pageantry like there was before, when winners were presented with gifts like scholarships, employment, prestige, and clout. But Ellis says despite the harsh criticisms, he believes that social media is justified.
When we watch Miss Universe, we see Miss Venezuela, and she doesn't speak a bit of English. But everyone said, oh, Venezuela is going to win. I don't know what she's saying, but she looked good because it's a beauty pageant.
Now, our ZNS News team also spoke with Danielle Grant, 2018-2019 winner. She says online bullying is never okay, and Bahamians need to realize that we must stick together and support our own. She says if we want girls to enter the pageant and place well, we must build their confidence and self-esteem. Now, the Miss Bahamas Universe National Director Anthony Smith also releasing a statement, noting that earlier this week a teaser video was released on their social media channel, which failed to represent their spirit of excellence. He concedes that the video was poor in terms of its technical quality and overall production value and did not provide a fair representation of the contestants or their standard. The organization's statement goes on to say that they accept full responsibility and are no longer partnering with the firm who was responsible for producing and uploading the video on their behalf. Now, it wraps up by saying they are committed to showcasing and highlighting the beautiful diversity of the contestants and the Bahamas. It says the young women of Miss Bahamas Universe 2019 have joined a growing sisterhood that promotes unity and perseverance through adversity, and they have all committed to advocating for their powerful platforms and educating the public on the causes that they believe in. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news on the other side of the break.